we hear about anymore are the problems in schools. Tonight, something different. We bring you a school built to inspire. We bring you a school built to defy expectations. We bring you a school built for the education of dreams. Now, for this 11 Alive special, here's Donna Lowry.
A first dream always takes vision and courage.
This building is going to be completely demolished, and this is going to be our main classroom building. And right now it doesn't look like much, but I'm telling you, the inside is going to be like nothing you've ever seen. It's going to be unique with these high vaulted ceilings, and the classroom is going to be so special.
In 2006, when founders Ron Clark and Kim Bearden laid out their plans to turn this nearly century-old abandoned tent and awning factory into a school, they had few believers.
I looked at 50 different locations all across Atlanta, and when I walked into this facility, I just had a feeling. This part would be a parking lot, and this part would be a grassy area where kids can come and sit. A teacher could bring her class out there to read novels. This is our main classroom building.
Everyone thought we were crazy because it was just this dilapidated, torn-down building. We kind of think that that's kind of symbolic of who we are because we like to see the potential in everything. We're actually going to be bringing in people from the community.
I love this community. We're at the edge of Lakewood. We're in South Atlanta. Hopefully, by putting this school here, we're going to help to lift up this community and really make a difference.
Ambitious dreams, yet Ron Clark seems to thrive on the seemingly impossible.
I taught in North Carolina for 5 years, and then I saw this TV show, and it showed schools in Harlem where they had overcrowded classrooms, lack of teachers, low test scores, drugs, all kinds of problems, and I said, I'm going to go up there and try and teach in one of those schools, and everyone said I was crazy.
His frenetic, high-energy teaching style worked.
When you're working with high-risk students, you have to do whatever it takes. And I learned to do the Harlem Shake, and I rap in class, and I'm up on the desk, and I'm just bringing passion in there. Whatever it takes to relate to these kids, to build a relationship, and to get them to succeed.
American Teacher Awards for the year 2000, Ron Clark.
Ron's teaching first grabbed the spotlight when he won the prestigious Disney American Teacher of the Year Award in 2000. Another winning finalist that year, a teacher at Cobb County's Dodgen Middle School, Kim Stewart Bearden.
I met Ron before anybody had ever heard the name Ron Clark. He was very young then, all of 27 years old, but he had that something.
Instantly, we clicked. We understood that philosophically we were on the exact same page, and we both kind of taught outside the box. We did singing and dancing in our classrooms. We did strange things that others might have thought were unusual, but they made a difference with our kids.
You saw a piece on the news.
Clark's teaching style impressed media mogul Oprah Winfrey, giving him national exposure, praising his innovative, successful methods, and convincing him to write a book.
Recommend this book.
Then promoting it.
So she had me on the show, and I was all nervous, and she held up the book, and she said, America, you need to read this book. And then she held it close to her, and you know when Oprah holds something in her bosom, that's all it takes.
Let's take a moment to thank our own Mr. Clark.
In August 2006 came the Ron Clark Story on TBS, starring Matthew Perry of Friends fame.
It's really exciting to have a movie made about you. I see why they wait until someone dies before they make the movie, because it's an odd experience.
I'll be playing you.
Oh, hey. How are you doing?
Great to see you.
This is weird for you. And to have Matthew Perry playing me is strange because I grew up watching Friends and have him taking on my mannerisms and characteristics. It was strange.
This class tested at the bottom of the entire New York City school district.
The movie focuses primarily on Clark's struggle to turn around a classroom of fifth graders in Harlem.
You see this? This means that this year is going to be different.
It shows Clark's naive expectations.
These kids can do anything I'm asking them to do, more. They just won't.
His frustration with the students and their lack of interest in learning.
Today, we are going to learn grammar.
His willingness to try anything.
You are quiet and you listen. Every 15 seconds, I will drink a chocolate milk.
He finally breaks through.
What are you going to do? Suspend me? Go ahead, suspend me. I want to leave.
The stubborn girl portrayed here in real life is Tamara Luriano, now in college, but during a visit to Atlanta, she passionately described Clark's impact.
He uplifted me. Like, no one believed in me. Nobody felt that I was worth it because
I was a misbehavior problem. And then here comes Mr. Clark, and he's like, you know, you can make it, you're smart.
Just put a lot of energy in the classroom, and those kids really responded to it, and their test scores were through the roof.
You earned perfect scores in English and math.
Tamara and some of the other real-life kids on which the movie is based make cameo appearances in the background of the final scene. Matthew Perry grabbed an Emmy nomination for his portrayal of Clark.
The baddest teacher in town.
And the movie's success won Clark more recognition and fans. While sales of the movie and the book helped fund construction of the $3.5 million building, students know the true foundation of the school lies within these pages.
There's a quote, Mr. Clark, in his Essential 55 book. It's called Carpe Diem, and it means seize the day.
Those 55 essentials are what Mr. Clark sticks with no matter what. And if you break them, there are consequences.
We had our first class with Mr. Clark. And that's when he broke down the entire book to us.
Then, if you just did it every day, it became a habit. So after a while, I just did it without even noticing it. Like yes ma'am and no sir came out easily with no effort.
They are 4 of the first graduates of the Ron Clark Academy, and they live by the book.
And these are the 55 rules I have for my students dealing with how to treat people, how to give a firm handshake, how to live your life so that you have meaning, and to love education, and how to eat with proper etiquette, and how to go to a job interview. Because I'm telling you, if all we're doing in America is teaching these kids knowledge and not also teaching them how to use that knowledge and how to hold themselves with dignity and respect and how to get a job and go to an interview, then we're doing these kids a disservice.
From the very beginning, at this groundbreaking and before, it's a message he hammers nonstop everywhere, and people get it.
55 rules are probably good rules, not just for young people, for some of us adults as well. So congratulations. We're with you. We love you.
With that,
let's look up, everybody.
They officially dig into building the future.
And I am so excited. Ron's passion is contagious. We're so glad that he picked our community. With the revitalization, he was the shot in the arm we needed.
Not only are they talking about it, but him and Kim and the fact that they're actually doing something about it and sticking with it is amazing.
I just think it is phenomenal.
10 months later, Ron Clark Academy as a structure is taking shape.
Miss Bearden's Train of Thought. It has all parts of speech on it.
And so are its first students.
And this is the learning loft, and this is just like where we're going to hang out.
It's mid-June 2007, and the school hasn't even opened yet. Ron Clark Academy already has a packed audience of visitors for a global education conference.
It has become evident to me that my life is about to change forever.
Willie would soon learn how true those words would become.
Still to come on The Education of Dreams. Day-to-day dreaming. Learning is fun, but that doesn't mean easy. But first, a few of Ron Clark's Essential 55.
When responding to an adult, you must answer by saying yes ma'am or no sir.
Follow the specific classroom protocol.
Cover your mouth if you sneeze or cough and say excuse me.
Respect other students' comments, opinions, and ideas.
When we are on a field trip, you will enter the building so quietly no one will notice you are there.
On a bus, always face forward.
Do not ask for a reward. You should do good and try your best because you want to better yourself.
When you receive something, do not insult the gift or the giver.
You're watching an 11 Alive special, The Education of Dreams. Here's Donna Lowry.
It took time for day-to-day dreaming to take shape at Ron Clark Academy. June 12, 2007, the time crunch for construction of the Ron Clark Academy hits a pace as electric as the partially built blue slide inside. In another building, the rush hits high speed to make sure the students are ready.
There was a lot of pressure on us because we had to learn a song and everything, and I didn't perform at that age. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Welcome to the stage, Mr. Willie Thornton.
The hard work had a big payoff. RCA hosted 150 visitors from all over the world in Atlanta for the America's Competitiveness Forum.
Secretary Gutierrez.
hosted by then U.S. Secretary of Commerce Carlos Gutierrez.
What is the first topic?
The event is quite a coup for the school, and it's why the pint-sized tour guides are well-versed on the school's features.
All over the steps.
From each stair containing coins from 192 countries
What's a secret door like?
to the fake wall of books that's the entrance to Ron Clark's room. Visually, the school became the one Ron Clark envisioned, but the students had no idea what to expect.
I didn't want to come at first.
Honestly, I just wanted to go to the regular school that I was supposed to go to with my friends. We saw the movie, The Ron Clark Story, on TV. My mom, for some reason, decided to watch the credits, and she saw that they were opening up a new school, and then she was like, I gotta get you in that school. So
Jose's mother did the same as more than 300 others applying to get kids in just 60 slots.
We don't need the balls. You're all going to the academy. All of you. You all got accepted.
This is the reaction when those chosen first learned they got in. They felt they'd won the lottery, but the process is by no means random.
Some people think we went all over Atlanta and handpicked the very top scholars from every school. Some people think we only went and selected troubled students or students who weren't successful. And what people need to know is that there are both kinds of students here.
That mix of students, they say, is intentional.
Because when teachers come to visit and they want to see how our methods affect kids, we want to show them how our methods affect all different types of kids.
Except for racial and ethnic diversity. You won't find that here.
I mean, you can't help but notice that Ron and I are two very white folk, and yet you see a school full of students of color.
They didn't plan it that way.
And a matter of fact, we only had 2 white students that interviewed that very first year. We immediately realized that the African American community was looking for alternatives for their children.
And these kids have got dreams, and we're going to help their dreams come true.
In the future, they hope the school will become more diverse.
But we want that to be something that slowly evolves through our admissions process.
my mom dropped me off here, and I walked into the gates and into the door, and that was my first time seeing the building. They took all the students and brought us into Mr. Clark's classroom, and the first thing he did was jump on the desk.
There's no F's in my class.
Unfortunately, I was a little wandery-eyed, and so he goes, Chi-Chi. I'm like, yes, sir. And then I just jumped to attention. He doesn't let you roam at all. He wants you focused and on every single detail.
They soon learn with any lesson for any class to expect anything.
Do it.
What is a typical class period like?
A typical class period. I do not think there's any such thing because our class periods, all of our teachers have their own thing about them that is unique to them.
School days can also include transformations in language arts classes to ignite interest in literature and writing, developing RCA Fashion Week for a descriptive writing project, or an Italian restaurant for a lesson on punctuations, or creating scenes from Greek mythology to make a PowerPoint storybook, or RCA Medical Center to perform operations on grammar. And there's Camp Share a Story, where they read around the campfire.
Opposite and equal reaction.
Other classes are just as engaging with unexpected moments.
You never know when you're going to be the one that has to teach the class.
All we have to do is just find the difference, right? Yes, ma'am.
If not asked to teach,
2 more candidates up here.
Students know without warning they may have to debate.
You guys have been paying? How much have you been paying, young lady? Too much. Too much.
We never come to class unprepared. It's just one of the most embarrassing and worst things you can do.
We're not playing about homework, about effort, and about your attitude. You're going to come in here, you're going to work hard, you're going to give it all you've got. We have some of our 8th graders who are leaving who are testing above a 10th grade level.
My 5th grade at the end of this year, they were learning 8th grade grammar.
You've gone outside of the triangle, so you've gone outside the rules of math.
The scenes of interactive learning give the impression it's all fun and games here.
That's awfully weak, folks. It can get real ugly real quick.
I'm here definitely to tell you that it is not the easiest school to be in. There are definitely a lot of rules.
Among other things, this school has consequences for breaking one of Ron Clark's 55 essentials.
If you break a rule, you get your name on the board. And then if you break another rule, you get a check, which is silent lunch.
3 checks, you have 2 detentions, and then 4 checks, we have a parent conference.
5th check, no one knows. We haven't been that bad yet.
How do you think that makes this school unique?
Because the rules aren't like general rules. I mean, they're not like you have to be seated at all times.
So we're going to learn to respect.
The more you have structure for kids, the more you make it specific about your expectations, the more freedom you have to be able to laugh, to sing, to dance, and those kind of things.
Typical exam is probably around 200 to 300 questions.
Exams and tests, universally hated by any student, no matter what age. It's no different here. Their 8th grade final had 1,000 questions.
Yes, a 1,000-question global studies exam. So they earned those trips around the world because they had to, it was cumulative of everything. Yeah, I would love to give that to most adults out there and see how well they fared.
It's true, they've learned quite a bit in their time here, especially about the world, because they've seen more of it in 3 years than most will in a lifetime. They've gone to cities on 6 of the 7 continents. London, Paris, Amsterdam, Australia, Peru, South Africa, and throughout the U.S., Park City, Utah, Arizona, Washington, D.C., New York City.
We have to learn everything about their culture, the history of it, what's going on then, the landmarks, the presidents or the leaders of the countries.
While every trip has a special memory for the students, each has a favorite.
I remember the most would be London. It was my first time out of the country, as well as a lot of other students, so I think that's what made it kind of a big moment for me.
But Japan, it was all about honor and not disgracing your ancestors, but honoring them, and just being a good person.
Mine was in South Africa. We went to Soweto. We visited a couple orphanages in there, and then so there were AIDS kids, and so we played with little babies, bought them toys.
And each trip is filled with moments. Ron Clark considers them important.
And we always tell them, when you're on the top of the mountains at Machu Picchu, embrace where we are. Where sometimes in life we tend to say, what's next? I want this to happen. What's coming? What's coming? You're looking forward to what's going to happen in your life. But we try to teach these kids to embrace now.
You know, we're in Soweto, and you're in a room full of children that have nothing, and you see our children interacting with them and, you know, literally giving them the shirts that they were wearing because they want to leave a piece of themselves with these kids. You're like, they get it now.
So that when we want to go to be a lawyer or a doctor or a politician, we'll say, we would know how to use the experiences that we've taken and gotten from all over the world.
Still to come on the Education of Dreams. Teaching the dream. Thousands visit to learn how to make what happens here blossom in their classrooms. First, more of Ron Clark's Essential 55.
You will make every effort to be as organized as possible.
Do not stare at a student who is being reprimanded.
Always say thank you when you are given something.
If you are asked a question in conversation, ask a question in return.
No matter what the circumstances, always be honest.
When meeting new people, shake hands and repeat their names.
The transition from one classroom to another should be swift, quiet, and orderly.
Answer all written questions with a complete sentence.
You're watching an 11 Alive special, The Education of Dreams. Here's Donna Lowry.
At Ron Clark Academy, teaching the dream means sharing it with others.
When you look up there, what do you see as the exponent? So say it, but be real positive, like you're...
Okay, so when you look up there, Shahid, what is the exponent? Really think, focus, okay? Good job, Shahid.
More to lift them up, so that's great.
To Shahid Valentine, get it! Okay, so we put...
On this day and lots of others, an audience watching every classroom move, dozens of visiting educators, teachers, principals, superintendents.
And up to this point, we've had 10,000 visitors from around the country and the world come to Atlanta, spend time in our school, spend time in our wonderful city, and take what we're doing here back around the world.
It's why several of the classes have stadium seating.
I like how she did it. She was like she was pulling you in to hug you, then she would do this, do this, do this, and then take you right there, your focus to the board. I thought it was awesome. We knew from the beginning we wanted to show what we were doing. We said we know we're going to be innovative, we're going to be creative, but the main mission here is to also bring in teachers and to share what we do.
It's not because we think we know everything, and it's not because we think we're perfect teachers, but all teachers learn when they're able to watch others.
I'm here because I saw Ron on Oprah years ago.
The more you learn, the more you realize how much you need to know. Kids are changing, the world's changing, so we got to keep up.
They come and bring cameras. Some put their images online to share with others. When posting this one, the person writes, it shows something you've never seen before in a classroom. It's class in a fishbowl, and the students know it's a way of life.
Well, at first it's a little scary because, I mean, it's like 500 people just watching you, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm like, you just can't mess up.
That's just how we are on a regular basis.
But the thousands of teachers who visit provide a critical element to the school, revenue. Each person pays $300 a day.
It is a great help for us, and that's roughly about a third of our funding we are able to get from this teacher training program.
I put my kids into fashion companies.
Unfortunately, not every teacher who wants to come can make the trip here.
Whoa!
And so we've made a way where you can virtually visit the Ron Clark Academy.
And welcome to the Great American Teachers Club.
But that's not all. For a fee starting at $150 a year per person, anyone can have access to RCA's teaching techniques and download songs such as PP Parts of Speech. We have learned each one of them so we don't get confused. At times, the site offers streaming video and webcasts, lesson ideas, games.
What are some of those funding streams?
In order to fund the school, the money comes from several resources. Number one, my books and the merchandise that I've written in the past, the money that we make from those items goes to scholarships for kids.
And
a check made out to the Ron Clark Academy for $365,000.
From Oprah Winfrey.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
This is such an amazing gift.
And I've never felt like this before.
That in 2008. Last year, she gave another $1.5 million.
There are a lot of people like, oh, Oprah's just funding that school.
Our biggest problem is that people see us on television and they see that we have a colorful school and they say, oh, Oprah gave them $1.5 million, and they think we're just flush with cash and they think that we don't need any support. But the problem is it takes us $3 million a year to run the school.
You know, we are so thankful for her. We're so thankful for her support. But the reality is that we are a nonprofit, and so every bit of our operational costs, we have to get that funding from somewhere.
Bit of a review game about social studies.
They get both money and in-kind contributions from sources such as Delta Airlines and Intercontinental Hotels, which take care of their trips. From Great American Financial Resources, which funded their library that includes a trampoline. And from other major sponsors such as Promethean, Verizon Wireless, Comcast, Panasonic. All of the sponsors believe in the mission of the school, of course, but they also like the exposure they get. Dave Person of the School Box Stores.
Teachers from all over Atlanta that we work with, from all the schools here, all over the country. Ron has, plans to have teachers from all over the world come here.
Things that are going on at our school.
Ron and Kim also put nearly every free moment they have into making money for the school with a mind-boggling number of public appearances worldwide. This summer, Kim will do 50 speeches. Ron, 70.
The past 4 days, I was in Puerto Rico, then Chicago, then San Antonio and Myrtle Beach. I'm leaving today to go to Richmond, then Tacoma, Washington, then Denver, Colorado.
There's another source of funding for the school.
All of our families pay something for the student to attend here. The parents pay tuition on a sliding scale. So it's based on their family income and the number of dependents in the homes.
Paying anywhere from $360 a year to $18,000 a year.
Well, this is our science classroom over here.
For the students, knowing someone's always watching means they're always on, and they're okay about that.
My favorite part is when they ask questions, because it shows that they're really interested and they really care about bettering the education system.
Don't you want to go to school here?
It really enhances our public speaking and how to interact with other people.
The change we need should begin.
Actually, they're pretty good at that.
Still to come on the Education of Dreams, the Dream Song. Learning goes viral on the internet, and with it, life lessons, both happy and sad. First, more Ron Clark's Essential 55.
While you are with the substitute teacher, you will obey the rules you follow on a daily basis.
After dining in their cafeteria or elsewhere, be responsible for your trash.
Surprise others by performing random acts of kindness.
Do not show disrespect with gestures.
Carpe diem. You will only live today once, so don't waste it.
When offered food, take only your fair share.
When homework is assigned, do not moan or complain.
You must complete your homework every day.
You're watching an 11 Alive special, The Education of Dreams. Here's Donna Lowry.
A dream song is something musicians crave, yet for a school of kids, it just happened.
6th grade got it, 5 cubed, 7 squared.
They sing all the time, whether it's before an audience or just in class to remember a concept. And that's what happened during the 2008 presidential campaign.
And we had to keep up with the news on a daily basis. That was our homework assignment.
Now, your 90-day moratorium, I don't think it's going to be doing much for the people. Do you agree?
We got up and had debates, and we didn't know which party we were going to debate for. So you just had to know everything that the party stood for.
Yeah, Democratic left, Republican right, November 4th, we decide, and you can vote however
We split the classroom down the middle and said, you're going to be on the Republican side and you're going to be on the Democratic side.
We're talking big pipeline and low gas price. The low $2 that would be nice. But to do it right, you got to start today. By renewable ways that are here to stay. I want Obama. Forget Obama.
We performed the song at a Coca-Cola event, and some lady was recording us on her phone.
And she put it on YouTube. And the next thing we knew, 50,000 hits, 100,000 hits, and it kind of started to snowball.
We were all really surprised. We never thought that this would be something that the whole nation would find out about. It was just something we did for fun and educational purposes. We just went with the flow.
All these people wanted to get footage of these kids singing the song, and it just kind of took off.
It was like you can't help but just, revel in the attention, have fun.
The school rode a thrilling wave of publicity and excitement. It seemed nothing could spoil it, but something did.
Talk a little bit about the double-edged sword to having all that publicity on the internet.
When you have hundreds of thousands of comments about you on the internet, some of them are going to be wonderful, some of them are not.
But 95% of the comments were like, oh, these precious, incredible children. But then there were some horribly racist, things that you could never believe anybody would ever say about a child, anybody, let alone a child.
Calling the kids names, racist names, calling them monkeys. One website was made where they took pictures of our kids and they compared them to different species of orangutans and said this child looks more like this orangutan.
It was a shock. It really was, because they were saying some really gruesome things, and I didn't really. We're just kids.
Seeing the comments on the video, it was hurtful, because it's like we're just having fun. We're just middle school kids who are doing something to help us learn better. And for someone to sit there and say that we're just singing monkeys and stuff like that, it makes no sense.
It was a life-changing experience, because you realize that in this world, not everyone is going to agree with you or support what you're doing. You're always going to have a bad side to the good that you're doing.
The kids that came to school crying and crying, they said, Mr. Clark, why would someone do this? So we just called the whole school together.
We said, let's pull it all off YouTube. Let's make sure that this stuff is gone. But our kids said, no, this is our reality. This is a challenge we're always going to have to fight.
And Ajane said, well, Mr. Clark, remember you said Martin Luther King, that they used to throw eggs at him, and that even though they threw eggs at him, he still held his head high, and he kept marching because he was trying to change stereotypes. He had a mission. And she said, and we have a mission. We want people to see that not only are we singing and dancing, but we're intelligent. We understand these issues, and we can articulate them well. And then Willie said, yeah, Mr. Clark, and we're going to have to deal with racism our whole lives. So maybe we should learn how to handle it at a young age.
And so I'm glad to say that we all wanted to keep fighting.
They voted, and not one person said to pull the videos off. So we left the videos on.
They kept going with the song.
So, Willie, how did this all happen?
And in the end, those hurt feelings faded as their superstar status soared.
Getting so much attention, it made us realize what other celebrities and things and people like that have to deal with.
After election night that year, they came up with another song.
The change we need should begin today. And Barack, we stand behind you as you lead the way.
And that too grew in popularity. So did they.
And next week, we're going to the inauguration.
It led to an amazing, magical time for RCA students in the nation's capital. Performing at an inaugural ball,
We can talk politics all night.
getting impromptu requests to perform anywhere.
You can't really put into words what it feels like for you to go out somewhere and someone instantly recognizes you.
Something more will always stick with Ron Clark about that time, a change.
A lot of people had seen the movie, the Ron Clark story, and we would go places and people would say, oh, let's interview Ron Clark, and the students would be with me.
At one point for a national show.
And the lady comes out, the reporter, she says, oh, I know you, Willie, I know USA. And she's like, you must be their chaperone to me. And she said, you can wait right here, I'm going to take the kids. And she took the kids and took them out to the stage. And I was like, how great is this? Because she didn't even know who I was, but she realized this is the story, the kids. And so it went from being my face in the media to the kids, and that's where it should be.
And they love all the attention.
It can also get tiring, but overall it's a good experience and I look forward in the future.
I know you do. Osei expects to stay in the public eye.
It's always saying thank you.
He wants a career in it. Some of the others may too.
To control my own future.
Still to come on the Education of Dreams, the never-ending dream, a star-studded graduation, and bright plans for the future. First, more of Ron Clark's Essential 55.
When you are introduced to people, you will make sure you remember their names.
Hotel room, leave a tip for the hotel workers who clean your room.
Follow along when we read together in class.
When grading other students' papers, give only the correct grade.
Do not stare at a student who is being reprimanded.
Hold the door for people rather than letting it close on them.
We will follow classroom protocols. We will be organized, efficient, and on task.
Greet visitors and make them feel welcome.
You're watching an 11 Alive special, The Education of Dreams. Here's Donna Lowry.
The never-ending dream kicks off with a special celebration.
I would like to welcome you to the first ever Ron Clark Academy graduation.
They've dreamed of this night, but there's no way they could have imagined all that would take place.
One thing I've told y'all many times is that life is about moments. You can't put a price on a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, the song we're about to sing is called I Believe.
I believe I can, I believe I will.
And it is the first song we ever sang as RCA students. It is by the incredible Miss Yolanda Adams.
You can reach your goals. Just talk to your soul and say, I believe I can, I believe I know my dreams are real.
Everything about the ceremony is a gift to the graduates, including a message Ron delivers from Oprah Winfrey.
She also told me that you impressed her beyond words when you were in South Africa, that she thinks you are all incredible, incredible individuals. She wanted me to tell you that she wanted to tell you all of that in person.
Please welcome Miss Oprah Winfrey! RCA!
I'm here just to say to you, I believe. I believe in you. As Ron mentioned, from the very first time I met him, I knew that he had something special going on. And he has been a wonderful mentor for me. When I started to prepare for my girls' school in South Africa, I looked to him as one of my advisors. I celebrate you. And I celebrate you because you, each of you, represents the best of who we are. You are the best we have. Woo! Best we have.
Oprah's a major star, but she doesn't shine any brighter than the students who speak with the words they wrote themselves and memorized.
He has the most prestigious honor of being the valedictorian of the Ron Clark Academy.
14-year-old Osei Averill.
No one can time travel. Believe me, I've tried. These past 3 years have been lovely, magical, eye-opening, and now heartbreaking. These past 3 years were something I'll never forget. The Ron Clark Academy, there is no place like it, just like there is no place like home. But it is now time for the 8th grade birds to leave this nest and look to the future. I would like for you all to go back into your minds and search the memory banks so cultivated by this school and think back to September 4th, 2007. For many of us, the first day at RCA. Many of you all may say that your most vivid memory was going down the slide for the first time, or getting your first tour, or maybe even seeing Mr. Clark jump on the desk for the first time. But what I remember the most was sitting in the dark of a classroom, built in the midst of city streets, under the bright lights of education and creativity, a class we now know as Miss Bearden's class. The expectations are high, and you have great shoes to fill. So, I would like for you all to promise me something. Promise that you will love, learn, and never put forth anything less than your very best. And in return, I promise that you will all lead extraordinary lives too. Thank you.
14-year-old Chi-Chi Uwu.
I am a teacher, shedding wisdom on the next generation of leaders. I am a great philosopher. My mind is my power. I am a diplomat, spreading peace with anyone my heart can reach. I am a proud graduate of the Ron Clark Academy. And because of you, I know the spirit of South Africa, the structure, the architect of Japan. I've experienced the culture of Peru. I felt the happiness of Australia, the freedom of Europe. And because of you, I'm not afraid anymore.
The evening brought out emotions and nostalgia.
When about a month ago, Miss Bearden and I were checking your Facebook pages. Yeah, we check. And all of you said you were just laying there crying, listening to Boys to Men. It's so hard to say goodbye. We didn't even know you knew who Boys to Men was. We're like, what? But it showed us then how deeply leaving meant to you. And as you know, I've always told you to make those moments. And so now, as your teacher, as your mentor and friend, I'd like to give you one last one. Please join me in welcoming to the stage, Boys to Men.
The good times that made us laugh outweigh.
I think that everyone who was in that audience agrees that the greatest gift was seeing those students on that stage and how they had grown and who they are.
To see forever.
They are the founders of the school too. You know, Ron and I get the title of founders, but we say they founded the school. They created the spirit in the heart of the school.
And that spirit and heart of Ron Clark Academy will go with them throughout life, and so will their connections to their teachers. Ron thinks it's crucial.
That's one thing that bothers me about our school system in our country is that kids get really attached to a teacher that whole year, and then whoop, then you're gone. And you've really got to bond with that adult. And our kids, they lose people enough as it is. I mean, we need to work as hard as we can to create and keep those bonds.
Bonds that mean the students will likely hear the voices of their RCA teachers when they're in other classrooms.
It's more of a face than a voice. Because Mr. Clark, he has this look, and it's just saying, get your act together right now. And it's the little eyebrow. You know, I can't do it. It's the eyebrow. It's the eyebrow. That's it. And every time he gives that face, you just snap to attention. So I know that when I'm stacking off, I can just picture that face and I'm good to go.
It's so hard.
Ajane Colson.
With the teachers here to tell you that you can do anything you set your mind to, and your family there to tell you that they love you and that they want to see you graduate and everything, it's kind of hard to not want to succeed because you don't want to disappoint anyone, especially yourself.
Jose April!
You put 100%, 110% in anything you do, then when you look back on it, you're not going to say, I wish I had done that, or I wish I could have done this. You're going to have no regrets, so I think that's the best way to live your life, with no regrets, and do the best you can do in everything you do.
Willie Thornton!
Mr. Clark always says this, he says it a lot, he says there's no room for fear. So you can't just back out and go into the shadows and just wait for something to happen. You have to go out and put yourself out there. And no matter what, no matter if people may bring you down or say things about you, you can't let that stop you. There's no room for fear.
Chi-Chi Ugu!
Because we're going to miss all of y'all. Then I know something special about each and every one of these kids, and then there'll never be another experience like this. And I appreciate it so much, so much.
Making moments, making people feel special, uplifting others. That is what life is about.